In this chapter, we introduce the concept of repetition or looping, and we're going to do that by demonstrating two major types of loops in C#, the while loop and the for loop. We're going to begin with the while loop, but we're going to start with what I'd like to call a motivating example. In other words, why do we need looping in our programs? So let's look at a very simple example. Let's say we want to compute the balance of a savings account that earns simple 2% interest for 5 years. To do that, we need a variable for the balance and a variable for the rate. We'll set the balance equal to 1,000. We'll set the rate to 1.02, same thing as 2%. We're just not going to add back. We're going to multiply by 1.02. Then to compute the balance for 5 years, we simply multiply that times the rate 5 times. So there's the first year, there's the second year, there's the third year, there's the fourth year, and there's the fifth year. When we're finished, we can display the result. The balance after 5 years is plus the balance. Then we run the program, and we see that it's $1,104.08, give or take some fractional cents. Clearly, we need to optimize the code that I've highlighted here because we're just typing the same statement over and over again. That's where a loop comes in. So before we discuss the while loop formally, let me just show you how we can modify this program to work with a while loop. So I'll comment out those lines of code. We need to add a new variable, years, that keeps track of how many years the loop's going to run. And then we're going to say while years is less than or equal to 5, balance times equal rate. And then we have to modify years so that it will eventually become greater than 5 so that the loop will stop. Again, we're going to talk about the formalities of while loops in the next lesson. So now we can run the program, and there you see we get the same result. The balance after 5 years is $1,104.08. And yet, rather than type 5 lines of code, we knocked it down to just a few, including some extra things we didn't use in the first example or in the balance times equals rate lines. However, what if we were computing this for 25 years or 50 years? Then clearly writing it as a loop is much better than writing all those statements over and over again. Nobody would even consider doing that. But that's what looping does. It gives you the opportunity to repeat the execution of one or more lines of code as many times as you need for the problem that you're trying to solve. So that should motivate you for why you need to learn about loops. So let's move on to the next lesson where I introduce while loops more formally.